Welcome back, folks. Welcome to another very special episode of the SoulTalk podcast. As you know, I try and bring on friends of mine and folks I respect from all industries and disciplines to talk about what it takes to live a more soulful life. And I think to truly live a soulful life really requires that you live your purpose. And I think if those of you that are listening in who feel a calling to live a purpose in life and share your gifts with the world, one of the things that inevitably, likely you will have to do and need to face is building a business and scaling your business to reach more people, whether as a coach, as a teacher, as a healer, as a, whatever industry you're in, you will have to build business and scale. And so today's episode is going to be a little different than I think of typical episodes, but it's such an important topic, and I think you will receive so much value from my special guest today. I consider her a friend. First and foremost, she is an incredible human being. She's the CEO of Pinnacle Global Network. Check this, she's the world leader in scaling businesses. So if you have a business idea, if you're running a business, whatever level it is you are, today's your lucky day. She is the Wall Street Journal bestselling author of Scale or Fail, which is endorsed by everyone from Damon John and Barbara Corcoran of Shark Tank. She built, and she's not just a theorist, folks, she's actually built 10 successful companies starting at age 19. Can you believe that? And her clients list include Ben & Jerry's, Supercuts, Merrill Lynch, Allstate, a few small companies. She's been on Fortune, featured in Fortune, Fast Company, Forbes, a regular contributor to Entrepreneurial Magazine, featured expert on ABC, CBS, NBC. Folks, the list goes on. You get the gist. She is amazing. Welcome to the conversation on SoulTalk, Allison Maslan. Allison, so great to have you.
Yes, I'm so excited.
We made it happen.
Here. Thank you.
We made it happen.
We did.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad to share you with everyone. Yeah, I'm so glad to share you with everyone. I think you're just brilliant, and every time we get to connect, you're just full of kindness and generosity, and I can't wait for everyone just to sort of receive from your wisdom. And so just to kind of set the context before we dive into some, deep dive questions on scaling and business and making an impact on the world, I'm curious, how did you get started in this whole sort of scaling businesses? I'm seeing that you started, I didn't even know this about you. You're so, to me, you're so humble. You started 10 companies starting at age 19, which is unbelievable. So how did that happen? Were you always entrepreneurially driven? What was your path to entrepreneurship? Because that's not, I would say it's not typical at 18, 19 to start your first business. That's kind of different. So I'm curious about your path in terms of entrepreneurship and business building. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, well, I grew up in a very entrepreneurial family. My father built a large chain of women's clothing stores in the United States, and started with my grandfather a store in Kansas City called Maslan, Ready to Wear. And the second store they won in a poker game in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And that was where I was born. And so I was, I just remember as a child just going with my dad from store to store and watching him in action, and his passion, it wasn't so much what he told me as far as business strategy. It was more that, I watched how innovative he was, that he was willing to take risks, and it was just who he was as a person. And, as the years followed, I realized I was unemployable. I just couldn't hold a job. I would either get bored, or I just, if I wasn't excited about it, it's just, it felt like, I just dreaded it. And so when I was in college, I went to Arizona State. I was a poet. I loved writing poetry. And so people started asking me, would you write one for my boyfriend or my son, and so I started this kind of poetry business. And I thought, I told
like
my
literally writing poems? Literally writing poems?
Yeah, literally writing poems and then doing calligraphy. So I made it nice, like a gift. And I would get to know them, and, so it would be very personalized. And I thought, wow, this is it. Like, I found my calling. I'm going to be a poet, And I remember sharing this with my dad, and he's like, oh, Allie, that's so awesome. But, did you know poets don't really become known until they're dead, And so I was like, God, you're such a buzzkill. And, I was super, super stubborn. And so I really thought, okay, I'm going to make this poetry thing go, and realized pretty quickly that $25 a poem was not going to pay my rent.
Not going to scale.
And there wasn't much scale there. So people started asking, do you do brochures? Do you do radio? Do you do television? All of these things I had never done. They were not in my universe at all. But I would hear my dad's voice in my ear that said, Allie, if someone asks you to do something and you feel like it's worthwhile, even if you don't know how to do it, just say yes and then figure out how to do it. And so that really is how I learned early on. And I put myself into some kind of crazy situations with deadlines, and I had no idea how to do it. But I wasn't afraid to ask for help. And that really was the key for me early on, was just hanging out at the TV station, going to the printers and saying, show me how your business works. And I really just learned along the way, and that's how I got started.